Hello, story lovers, and welcome to our magical corner of the sky. Today, we're soaring high above the clouds to a land of floating islands, where dragons with scales like jewels glide on rainbow winds. Our story is about a very special dragon named Little Blue. Little Blue was a young sky dragon with scales the color of a perfect summer sky. He lived with his family on the floofiest, golden-rimmed cloud you could ever imagine. His big brothers, Ignis and Scorch, were amazing. They could breathe magnificent plumes of fire, painting the sky with sparks of orange and gold. Watch this. Blue Ignis would roar, letting out a jet of crackling flames that toasted a marshmallow cloud to perfection. Little Blue admired them more than anything. He wanted to be just like them. So, he tried. He would puff up his little blue chest, take the deepest breath his dragon lungs could hold, and poof! Out came a stream of shimmering, wobbly bubbles. They weren't fiery or fierce. They floated gently, catching the sunlight and glowing with all the colors of the rainbow. His brothers would laugh, not unkindly, but it still made Little Blue's cheeks feel warm. "Bubbles, you're a bubble dragon." "Blue," Scorch would chuckle, nudging him with his wing. Little Blue would just sigh, watching his bubbles drift away, feeling a little less like a dragon and a lot more like a disappointment. He practiced in secret, behind the tallest cloud spires. He'd huff and puff, trying to find that inner spark. He'd imagine roaring flames, but all he got were more bubbles. Big ones, small ones, clusters of them that looked like floating grapes. He even tried getting a running start, hoping the speed would help, but he just ended up tumbling into a pile of soft clouds, surrounded by a cloud of his own bubbly evidence. He felt so different, so useless. What good was a dragon who couldn't even light a single candle? One afternoon, the sky began to change. The golden clouds turned a stormy gray, and the gentle winds started to howl. A great storm, the likes of which hadn't been seen for ages, was brewing. Rain fell not in drops, but in sheets, turning the rainbow rivers between the islands into raging torrents. The water levels rose higher and higher, threatening to wash away the smaller, lower-lying villages. The dragons flew into a panic. Ignis and Scorch tried to use their fire to evaporate the water, but the rain was too heavy. It just hissed and sizzled, creating more steam and confusion. The villagers were trapped, their homes about to be swept away. Seeing the fear in everyone's eyes, something clicked inside Little Blue. He saw the rising water, and an idea, as wild and wobbly as one of his bubbles, popped into his head. He flew straight towards the biggest river, his little heart pounding. He took the deepest breath of his life, not thinking about fire, but about saving his home. And then, he let it all out. An enormous, colossal bubble emerged from his mouth. It was bigger than any he had ever made, strong and iridescent. It floated down and landed right on the overflowing riverbank, creating a perfect, shimmering dam. Then he made another and another. He flew back and forth, creating a wall of giant, interlocking bubbles that held back the floodwaters. The other dragons watched, stunned. His brothers stared, their jaws dropped. Little Blue wasn't just puffing bubbles. He was weaving magic. He then flew to the trapped villagers, creating individual bubbles for them to float to safety on higher ground. When the storm finally passed, the sky was clear and calm. The village was safe, saved by the very thing everyone had laughed at. Little Blue was no longer the bubble dragon in a funny way. He was their hero. His brothers hugged him tight. "Your bubbles are amazing." "Blue," Ignis said, his voice full of pride. "You're not just different," added Scorch. "You're special." From that day on, Little Blue never wished for fire again. He realized that his unique gift, his bubble magic, was exactly what his world needed. He learned that being different doesn't make you less. It makes you irreplaceable. So, remember Little Blue's story. Your unique quirks and talents, the things that make you different, are your very own superpowers. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful adventure today. If you enjoyed our story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next journey. Until next time, keep shining bright.